Welcome back to Richiez-vibes TV. Big up all my subscribers them and all the viewers them. In today's video we're going to be looking at some heartfelt stories in the news. But before we get into that, please don't forget to share, like, comment and subscribe if you're new and become a part of the family. Now let's get it. Okay, so Kenise Jackson, the young lady that was murdered by the mechanic, have been laid to rest. May her soul rest in peace. Also, my peeps, on Friday there was a tragic accident that cost the life of some Jamaicans.
The deceased are 23-year-old Javane Dove of Barracks Road, Montego Bay, St. James, 18-year-old Krishana Ellis of a St. Catherine address, 16-year-old Omar Patterson of Toss Pen, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, and an unidentified male. According to the police, the 16-year-old was the driver and owner of the vehicle. The police say at about 11:45 p.m. on Friday, the driver lost control of the vehicle and crashed into a concrete utility pole in the vicinity of Industrial Terrace. 3 of the occupants died on the spot, while 16-year-old Patterson died at hospital. This is the second multiple fatality crash the country has seen in a little less than 2 weeks. On April 12, 5 persons died as a result of a motor vehicle crash on the PJ Patterson Highway. Statistics from the Road Safety Unit reveal that as at April 22, 2021, 131 persons have been killed from a total of 120 fatal crashes. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucien Jones, is cautioning motorists against speeding.
What is particularly tragic about this incident is that 2 of those who died were teenagers, one 18 and one 16. And from the police report, it would appear as if the driver of the motor vehicle was a teenager underage. Once we begin to slow down on our road, it will make a huge difference. There's good data coming out of the WHO that a 5% reduction in your average speed can result in 30% reduction in death. I think we need to repeat this and people to understand it very carefully. Just 5% reduction in average speed can lead to a 30% reduction in the number of fatalities that we have on our nation's roads.
So my peeps, I think we all have concern about this so-called vaccine. Is it life-threatening or is it not? Let's get a little bit of insight on it.
There has been growing concern as to the side effects of the AstraZeneca vaccine, and though the vaccine's in its early stages of research, there are many skeptics. Dr. Roger Hunter, consultant surgical neurologist and social commentator, says the vaccine could cause much complication if administered to a person who has the virus or was inoculated up to the month after contracting the virus.
The vaccine stimulates your immune response, and the coronavirus also stimulates your immune response. So if you have the 2 conditions occurring at the same time, for some people, that creates too much of a hyper-inflammatory state. It thickens your blood. So I would suggest that we should adopt Canada's position, which is for anybody gets a corona vaccine, the AstraZeneca vaccine, that they have a negative COVID test.
Opposition spokesperson on health, Dr. Maurice Guy, says though he gives some merit to Hunter's suggestion, he believes more research is needed to make a definite claim.
In an ideal world, that would be the correct thing to do. There are not many countries, as I'm aware, that does that. And it has to do with the fact that not only the resources that will need to be expended, but the time it would take to have all of these tests done and the people vaccinated.
Additionally, Dr. Hunter says people with comorbidities who have contracted the virus may find the treatment expensive, since the medication to preserve their health is costly.
You'll be taking your oxygen levels at much more frequently. Certainly once your oxygen saturation, if it falls below 80, then we talk about a need for oxygen and more intensive type of treatments, which still can be delivered at home, such as Actemra. It's a very good drug, very expensive. You're looking at about $250,000 to $300,000 for one dose.
Dr. Hunter says ultimately, keeping one's health in check and controlling comorbidities is the only way to completely reduce the risk of contracting the virus.
But one I would certainly encourage the government to do, ivermectin, a very important drug. It's very cheap, very cheap. Ivermectin does what vaccines are supposed to do. Ivermectin blocks infections, and ivermectin reduces the severity of the infections. So I certainly would welcome the examination of the Cuban vaccine.
So my peeps, with all what go on, many of us Jamaicans are taking this COVID-19 seriously, as you'd see in this video.
The jubilation, lack of mask or physical distancing could easily confuse one into thinking this was a scene from a community water sporting event long before the COVID pandemic. But you would be very wrong. This is what disregard for the latest curfews and health measures to curb the spread of the virus looked like Sunday afternoon. This is Drewsland St. Andrew during the last of 3 weekend lockdowns. Men, women and children took to the streets to entertain themselves and possibly become infected in the name of fun. Police patrolling the area were met with empty streets as residents scampered into nearby yards, fleeing prosecution.
Watch how fast I drive! Watch how fast I drive!
A series of vaccination blitzes have been launched to stem the wave of infections and possibly kickstart the ailing economy. These residents, soaking wet, lined up behind the wrong leader, breaching the stay-at-home orders. In coming weeks, the authorities will know whether 3 consecutive weekend lockdowns proved useful in breaking the rise in COVID-19 infections locally.
And last but not the least, my peeps, I do believe these police takes the law way too far. But comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think. But don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you're new.
Easy, Shakil. Me have that bad camera. Me have one camera. Me have one camera. Shakil. Easy, Shakil. Shakil, easy. Shakil, easy. Easy, easy. Easy. Never see a comfort indeed. And you comfort. Shakil, easy, Shakil. And you comfort indeed. No, and you found the first vaccine. On the first vaccine. Members on the comfort indeed. Over now. Members on the comfort indeed. Over now. Shakil, easy, Shakil. Good, yes. Me see saying talk about your teeth. And me have your face on camera. And you talk about in teeth. Shakil, let him.
General, yo, easy.
Easy, Shakil. Easy. Yes, me see when you box him. Me see when you box him in our face and you don't do nothing, just ask me for a mask. And me see when you box him. Me see when you box him in our face and he just asks for a mask and the top out his teeth. On the top out his teeth. Look here.
No,
the first top out his teeth. You top out his teeth. On the top out his teeth. Me see you. Me see when on the top out his teeth over now. Me see when on the top out his teeth that she first box him in our face and he don't do nothing. He don't do nothing.
You only can't beat the man for no at all, man.
But nobody knows the man. Me blind. Me blind. Me blind. Me blind.
Yo, easy, General.
Shakil, ease yourself. Ease yourself, Shakil. Me have the whole of this man camera. Me have, of course, me too when she box her in her face. Me too when on the box him, I saw no do. I saw no do under police and kill people. I saw no do under name of police and kill people. That no do under name of police and kill people. But remember that we know we're right. We know we're right. Me see when you box him in her face. Me see when you box him. Remember me tell her that.
No, man, yo, she slapped the man down the head back. No, that's all.
Shaquille, easy, Shaquille. My sister ain't come for your teeth, Shaquille. My sister ain't come for your teeth. My sister ain't over there to come for your teeth.
Yo, easy, no, dog. Yo, easy.
Shaquille, done no man.
Hold on a little boy.
Mister, when you talk to me in the face. Mister, when you talk to me in the face. Mister, when you talk to me in the face over me, I give me mercy. Come on, I talk. Mister, that. You're a liar and everything, you're not talking.
I'm talking about all the man teeth.
Mister, when he box him. Mister, when she box him. Mister, when you box him. Me have him on the camera. Me have him on the camera.
Police can have a talk to the colleague, general. When you can't make the colleague get the man for nothing at all.
Mister, when you box him, I saw no do under the name of police. I kill people.
So my peeps, if you have reached this far, you have come to the end of another magnificent video, of course. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new, share the video then, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace, I'm out.